Welcome back. So we've been talking about image compression with the fast Fourier transform, and now we're going to talk about how to do image compression using the wavelet transform in Python. Okay, so this is my Python example of image compression using the discrete wavelet transform. And this is almost identical. Like in spirit, this is exactly the same as image compression using the fast Fourier transform, except instead of doing an FFT of our image, we're going to do this discrete wavelet transform. And that should be better at capturing kind of multiple scales in these images. So big scales that are the size of the image all the way to really, really fine scales like hair and fur and grass and things like those. Okay, so morally this is the same story, except we're going to use the discrete wavelet transform for representing the image. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is just compute the wavelet transform of our image and look at what that does. Okay, so here we're going to load this image of my dog Mort. Okay, that's simple. And here in this code, what we're doing is we're going to compute a two-dimensional wavelet decomposition. So just like in the FFT, we had to do the FFT2 for a matrix for an image that's an array. Here, if you want to do the wavelet decomposition of a two-dimensional array rather than a one-dimensional signal like an audio signal, if you want to Fourier transform an image, you run this WaveDec2, this wavelet decomposition 2. This is in the PyWavelets package, so you're going to have to install that, this PyWT, it's PyWavelets, and then you can run this. So it's one line of Python to run this two-dimensional wavelet transform, and we are doing a two-level wavelet, so we'll have two kind of layers of this wavelet decomposition, and we're going to use the Debauchy 1 wavelet family. This is the mother wavelet. And you could try other things here. You could do a Haar wavelet, a Koiflet, in fact, I encourage you try other wavelet families and see what changes in this framework. Okay, so we've computed the wavelet decomposition, and now all we're doing is basically reorganizing the information in this coefficient matrix to show you kind of what the wavelet is doing in spirit to this image. So that's what I'm going to show you down here. Now it's a little hard to see depending on your screen, so I really hope you can see this. What we have in the upper left corner is kind of the low-res, coarse-grained version of Mort. I always think of this as kind of like the baseline low-res image. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add iteratively refinements to that image at this level and at this level. Okay, so this is kind of an inexpensive approximation, a compressed version, and then we're going to add these subtle refinements at higher and higher frequencies, kind of at these higher wavelet levels of our multi-resolution decomposition. And you can see that these have a lot of information where there's a lot of detail. Okay, so for example, there's information kind of at the ears and where his collar is, at his whiskers, on his tail, and not that much information in the snow or in these regions where all of the color is basically constant. Okay, now this is kind of interesting. In the olden days when you used to load images on a slow modem, like this is before the year 2000, before JPEG 2000 and wavelets, you oftentimes, if you loaded a bitmap, it would actually raster scan that bitmap as it was loading on your screen. So super slow, really frustrating to watch this slow load of images. Nowadays, fast forward into kind of the modern era with the wavelet decomposition. Now, if you load a really, really big high-res image on a slow internet connection, what will happen is you'll get very quickly the full image, but at a very coarse, blocky resolution. So you might actually be able to see these big kind of fat pixels in this coarse-grained, blurry version of the image. And then as more information comes across this slow internet connection, you start to load the next level of the wavelet decomposition. You can see those blocky, blurry images start to come into focus. You can see additional features come in. You can start to see, okay, now I see details around the ears and the tail and the snout. And then as that last level of wavelet decomposition loads, you can see it come into even better focus, and it kind of gets more and more crisp as the data streams in. And so that's really nice. That's especially important for things like streaming television, Netflix, images, where if you have low bandwidth for a little while, you don't want to get no image. You just want the image to kind of adaptively degrade or refine based on how much bandwidth you have. Okay, so that's what this wavelet decomposition allows you to do, which is super cool. Okay, so if you only have a little bit of bandwidth, it focuses it in the stuff, the big coarse grain stuff that matters. If you have a little bit more bandwidth, you get medium scale features, and if you have all the bandwidth, you can get all the texture and the fur and everything. Okay, so that's really cool. And I should point out, I'm telling you kind of a very shallow treatment of the wavelet decomposition here. This is a deep subject. Malat's book is about that thick on the wavelet transform. So check out the documentation, read some of these core foundational textbooks if you want to know more about this and actually use this. I mean, this is still a subject of active research. This happened within many of our lifetimes, this transformation from kind of JPEG Fourier compression to wavelet JPEG 2000 compression. Really, really interesting stuff, okay? And then I'll show you how to use this for compression. So notice that a lot of this is kind of just gray, no texture, nothing going on. This means that there's a lot of room to compress, to throw away small wavelet coefficients and still get a good faithful representation of mort. Okay, so that's what we're doing here. Just like we've always done, this is just like the Fourier transform compression example, except now instead of an FFT2, we're going to do a wavelet decomposition 2. Okay, so just the same one line. We're going to use the Dobushi 1 wavelet family. And here we're going to do a 4-layer decomposition. In my previous example, I did a 2-layer decomposition so I could plot it for you. When you start to get into higher and higher level decompositions, it's really hard to visualize on a computer screen, but it's great for compression. Okay, so we're going to use a 4-level decomposition, and what we're going to do, just like before, we're going to order our wavelet coefficients from biggest to smallest, and we're basically going to define these thresholds to chop off and only keep the first 10%, the first 5%, the first 1%, and the first 0.5% largest wavelet coefficients. And then we're going to see how accurate those reconstructions are compared to the original image. Okay, just like we did in the Fourier example. So if you run all of this code, you find this is if you multiply this by 100, you get the percentage. This is keeping the first 10% of the wavelet coefficients. And you see this is a almost perfect representation of mort. You could probably even read my phone number on his collar. Maybe that's a challenge, image challenge. This is with 5% of the wavelet coefficients, 1% of the wavelet coefficients, and 0.5%. So you can see that there's a little image degradation. In fact, this is what I was telling you before. Like when you have an image load on a low bandwidth internet connection, it kind of looks like this. You can actually see the little grainy bits holding that picture together. And then as more information streams across the network, you start to refine and see kind of better resolution features. And eventually you get all of the details and the hair and everything. Okay, so what you really need to do is you need to actually do a head-to-head comparison of this wavelet compression with the FFT2 version of the compression. I mean, it's exactly the same pipeline with wavelets and with fast Fourier transform. And then you should compare kind of side by side. What does it look like if I keep 5% of the largest wavelet coefficients versus 5% of the largest Fourier coefficients? Which image has better quality and keeps more of the original features of the image? Okay, so that's something you should do as homework, is kind of code these up next to each other and actually look at them. You could even compute the norm of the error between the original image and the reconstructed image. So you could quantify how different these images are in kind of a metric space. So you could just literally compute the norm of the difference of those two arrays using the wavelet compression and using the Fourier compression. That would be pretty interesting. Okay, so that is just very high level, shallow overview of image compression with wavelets. This is the basis of JPEG 2000 image compression. So, I mean, this is not a small field. This is a huge field. This has changed how we collect and store and send images and movies and audio. Super important in the satellite era, in the digital communication era. This is just, the very briefest overview of how to do this in Python. All right. Thank you.